Hey everyone, it's Full Self-Driven back again with another video. We are on version 11, version 12, sorry, excuse me, version 12.3.3. Just showing a quick couple turn route, you know, giving it something new to go after. I started you off there right from the green light because that light backs up and it takes forever, and I just didn't want to draw out the video right at the start. But yeah, today is currently April 5th. That's still an issue. So right there, it always swerves over into that lane that isn't really a lane. It's just a secondary, you know, portion for turning into a complex right there. And it's most every version has always gone into that lane when I've taken this route prior. And even there, it still does it. I hear a lot of people cut the corner and put on their left blinker and go from here all the way across. I think my car is gonna actually want to do that. So I'm just gonna hold off and let it do what it wants to do. It definitely is gonna make this left up here in this turn, and people cut into that early. Some people wait. It's a double lane that'll open up. It's currently April 5th, 2024. We're just testing out this current version of Full Self-Driving. It's got little bits here and there that can be, you know, obviously fixed. I'm hoping that they at least come out with something soon. Regarding sharp right turns where it'll actually clip a curb, or I guess left-hand turns on a one-way road, one-way street, because it is a serious problem. I've seen it myself get way too close a couple times. I've had to take over once. A couple times I've let it go through. Just watching the cameras and kind of knowing the turn and knowing how wide my car can go or needs to go, but it has definitely come very close quite a few times. It's going to make a left here. It's going to make an immediate right. There's a median where that lane coming off the highway makes a right only, and this lane goes and merges in. They might actually move. No, they keep moving. We have to yield and merge in. I have a lot of problems with keep moving signs. It just does not seem like it ever wants to go for them. It's yielded, it's got its turn, it's going for it. There's a cop right there too. There's a cop on our right there. So definitely made it, definitely made it though. Always hesitant to let it drive, not knowing what it's going to do, especially with law enforcement around. rather just not have the altercation. That's just how most people are. They don't want to have encounters with the police. So that's just how we are in our nature. Yeah, it doesn't really bother me as much as I just would rather avoid it, you know. As most people would, but he's turning right there, so we're gonna keep on funneling with the flow of traffic. It did blend in pretty well though, I'll say that. For the most part, it didn't do anything crazy with the wheel or anything on the turn. It did yield enough to the point where I was satisfied when it should have. It was clear. I need to actually plug in my phone. Pretty good time to do it, probably. I've had it mess up on this turn once or twice before. I think it has 2 lanes to turn right. Or maybe it couldn't decide which lane it wanted to turn right, but I think it has 2 right turn lanes. If I'm not mistaken, and it just got really confused. Yeah, it does. And it didn't know what to do last time. It actually stayed in that first one until the very end and then turned into this one and I started swerving back and forth. I didn't have my camera up, but I thought I'd pull it up this time for y'all just so you could see. Now we're blocked for our right on red. I heard my brakes engage right there. I don't even know why. Pretty sure that's the brakes engaging when you hear that. Oh, it can see now because that car moved out of the way. I didn't have to accelerate or do anything. There is a sign there that'll turn up at certain points and tell you cannot make a right on red at certain times. They'll turn that sign on depending on traffic flow or whatnot. We just got lucky. It's Friday, 5 o'clock. This will back up a lot of times very far to this next intersection up here. And this actually has a weird traffic flow where it has the green arrows above that turn on and off, switching and rotating lane depending on traffic. And I've yet to see it where it takes over and wants to get into that, but we'll see if maybe it does it today. It looks like it's already getting over into this lane without me even asking it to. Before I'd put on my blinker and it wouldn't even want to get into this lane. It would get just very much so confused, but it looks like it realizes in this update what it can do. No, I don't. Either it realizes it can and it's scared, or it doesn't know, because see here, it keeps flashing the yellow line and white lines, and it doesn't necessarily know the whole time. They know where, I guess, what is best for it. So yeah, it's kind of hard. Because I need to be in that left lane coming up. I mean, I'll wait for it and get tied up, or have to go up there and turn around, and we'll see what happens. I've had it before where it's completely misturn just because of saw that coming. A lot of times we'll take over for holes in the road like that or massive gouges, but was a car on my left coming up and I didn't really want to scare them. So it's another thing to think about. But it really needs to start to get into this lane, and I don't know when it's going to realize that that's a turn lane that it needs to be in. I don't know if it's going to wait until it's too late. No, did it right here, and it's going to take the initiative to get in. It did. I'm quite surprised, honestly. Thankful, but that's what happens. So there, that whole time, because of traffic flow, we had both lanes open for us instead of a dividing lane, and it just didn't really want to open up until the last second. Thankfully, we didn't have somebody that was towing the line or trying to make it so we couldn't get over. But yeah, I'll try to intervene as little as possible, especially on these scenarios. And, you know, if I'm going to miss a turn, I'm going to miss a turn. And, you know, I want you to see what it does. And, you know, if it's not dangerous, then I won't force it to do anything. Unless, of course, there's people behind us, and I will press the accelerator eventually. I'm not going to hold it up and let it just sit there. People stopped here at this entrance, which is backed up. Whoa, is that valet parking? Must be a nice restaurant there. People are going there early, 5 o'clock. Is that an early time to eat dinner? Seems early for me. I was having, even the same update yesterday, I was having a lot of issues where the car was slamming on brakes. It was the lead car every time, but it just was not noticing the red lights quick enough, or not anticipating them, or maybe expecting them to go green. I mean, I don't know why they would do that, but the brakes, I mean, it was super heavy on my brakes, because, you know, I haven't engaged where it applies brakes, and maybe I should just take that off, because I don't, it's right here. I don't go to 100% very often, except for on road trips, and I'll know that that's, you know, not on. But, we're not going to be in cold climates here starting, or beginning of April, but we're in Georgia. We don't really, we will not have very much cold weather left. I think it was 48 this morning, but that was rare. Most days it's been 60s for the last month or so. We did not have a very brutal winter, to be honest, compared to ones we've had in the past couple of years, so it's definitely a relief. First year I had the car, we had a colder winter, and performed amazingly, to be honest. I had no issues as long as I set, you know, I had a set time, basically, or fluctuating the schedule back and forth between a couple hours, and I would always select it, you know, to be preconditioned, ready to go by that time. I was at home charging at the time. Now I'm at work charging. Let's see here. my brakes, unless it's just not showing it. Before it would show green here and then gray when it would be applying brakes as well. I don't know if I'm thinking it's possible that on full self-driving it's still going to apply brakes when it has to, but I'm guessing it won't show it there when it has to use them, which is weird. I don't really know how I feel about that. But it definitely felt a little less jarring, slowing down to that stop versus the other one. It just might just be, you know, I just changed the setting. I might be feeling some type of way about it, and just overthinking it. I might not have done anything different, to be honest. Guess we'll not know, because I think it just changes that bar, efficiency bar at the top. Which basically when you see this one going up, that's your accelerator, right? I actually just pushed the accelerator just for the video to prove that, but that's you accelerating, and then when you see it, this half go down green, that's you using your regenerative braking, and then when it goes into that gray portion past the green is when you're using your actual brake pads. You know, to be honest, not quite sure with full self-driving what the number is, but 90% of my driving, I know at least 85-90% of it is no doubt regenerative braking. 100% like of that is just, there's so minimal portion that I ever even touch my brake pads. And it's really I think the real main thing is when I'm accelerating real quickly or trying to get into a space, trying to get over, and I just come across a red light or, you know, a traffic jam or something, and I just have to brake fast. That's the only time that I ever even have to use my brake pads. So I do really enjoy the regenerative braking, the one pedal driving, they say, and I mean, I could not go back to the way it was before. It's so much more work. I mean, I still do have a gas car that I drive on occasion when I, you know, need to tow or need to do this or that, and haul something a little bit bigger, SUV. And it's a pain to drive the thing, to be honest. I mean, it gets 10 to 15 miles per gallon, and it honestly is the biggest pain in the rear to just get into, and it's a gas guzzler, like I said. It's sluggish. You know, you gotta turn it on and let it warm up. I mean, even with the app and turning on AC or your climate control settings via your app on Tesla, which is so convenient. Even turning that on, the car cools down so quickly. I mean, within minutes most of the time, if not a minute or two. And the most I've ever had it tell me that it's, you know, preconditioned, which I don't know if the battery is necessarily preconditioned, but the climate's preconditioned. The most it's ever taken has been, you know, 5 minutes or something in the dead of winter to turn on the heat and heat up the car. And, you know, obviously the battery's going to take a lot longer to heat that. I've seen the snowflake multiple times where you'll see a snowflake by your battery sign just telling you, you know, you have reduced power, and, you know, you'll have some dots up here where you don't have as much power available to accelerate into because your battery's not warm, and it's just to protect your battery and stuff, because it needs a, you know, optimal temperature to operate. And really the main other thing is in the cold, I noticed a lot where I'd lose regenerative braking, and I'd have dots down here where I'd lose, however much my regenerative braking. And then they had a setting that came out, right a few months after I got my car, where it would apply the brakes when you were using regenerative braking to mimic the regenerative braking, even though it wasn't available because the battery pack wasn't yet warmed up enough. That way you wouldn't lose your, as they say, I put it in quotes because they say it's, I guess, just kind of a mask that you don't have it necessarily, but yeah, limiting your battery is cold or close to 100% charged. But yeah, it will feel stiffer, and I agree, it definitely feels stiffer. It's all the time, I think. It's not just when it's not using the regen, it's eating into those brakes pretty hard. And I don't know if it's just this new update, but I've noticed a lot more with this new update. I've also noticed my auto max speed, it will work from time to time, and then other times it will just sit right around the speed limit. Now it's kind of mimicking the cars in front of us, getting back up there, which is good because it really is a pain. I haven't had personally yet where I've seen a sign pop up that says, highway such and such. I think it's trying to avoid this thing on the road. Maybe. Might have been trying to avoid that thing because it kept going back and forth. I don't know if it was just hesitant to get over or not, but that was funny. It went left and right. But yeah, I'm not going to drag out the video much longer. I do think it's got some work to fix a couple of key things that I've noticed that other people have noticed, but personally, a lot more of the problem is like I was about to say, the road problems. Here it's gonna, I guess it's gonna eat into the brakes. Yeah, it had to eat into the brakes there because it wasn't regen braking. So it just doesn't show, I guess, you eating into the brakes. So I might want to just turn that back on. Because I like it all around, either way. Applying and mimicking the regen. But people say these signs that say 120. Obviously it's not going to go to 120. It might see the speed limit sign right after that. But people are saying those signs like that on the highway are, say highway 35 will make the speed thing go down to 35 because it thinks the speed limit's 35. Or if it says minimum speed 40 miles an hour on the highway, the 40 mile an hour on the highway will actually go onto there as a speed limit and confuse everyone and confuse the car and apply brakes, phantom braking, and potentially being super dangerous on a highway doing that. I've had a friend and a brother of mine both mention the problem, and then I saw someone post on Reddit talking about how they had the issue driving, from Savannah, Georgia to I think Miami, Florida or something, but down the coast at 95 and Highway 95. and they kept getting issues with the minimum speed limit signs and, you know, whatnot, the highway signs, I'm sure, too, because that's what a buddy of mine was saying. And it's super dangerous, you know? And it's something they need to quickly, especially with how many people they were pushing the update to, I believe that they should have quickly figured this out and done something about it versus, you know, just mass pushing this update out that has clearly got issues. I mean, even on the highway, because I didn't think much was changed on the highway, but people are saying that the highway signs and auto speed doesn't work for me on the highway. I believe it doesn't work for anybody on the highway, or so I thought. So I don't know why the auto speed is giving that issue to people, but I'm assuming that's the setting that's potentially making speed limit signs read differently even on the highway stack. So something that needs to be addressed and quickly with how many people are on this update. I mean, out of everyone I know, I only have one friend of mine that's currently not on this update, and that's because his car, he did update after, I mean, just a day or two ago, and it's crazy. They pushed the 2024.8.6 or 8.7 update, or whatever it is, the update that is past this full self-driving trial update that everyone's on currently, and he's not able to get it now because he's got to wait until later this week or next week, hopefully, that they release an update that's past what their build is on. So, and I think there's still a majority of cars that are on that build, but majority of people that I know now are in the full self-driving trial, even the ones that didn't have it before. I mean, 3 or 4 guys I know that have Teslas, and they all got their trials shortly around the same time. Some of them won't even use it or don't like it, much rather have auto steer. I try to encourage them to use it, but I understand why a lot of people don't want to use it, and it's the issues that we see here and we see online and we see firsthand that are just here, you know, and they're here to get worked out, and without people like us testing it, you know, it would be a lot longer for them to work these kinks out of their system. So without further ado, I'm gonna cut the video here. I'll let it do this roundabout, this last loop around roundabout here, and it doesn't like to do it from this lane though, to be honest. So it's gonna try to get in this lane next to us. Maybe it won't. Maybe it will do it from this one. I have yet to have it do it from this one, so it seems, yep, it's going to try to get into this lane because it's very confused and it can't do both. So, but it can easily make a right from that lane, because then you've got to make a left up here for the route that I'm doing. So it makes no sense why they would do us like this, but I guess that's just how they are. It's very afraid to make that left-hand right loop around on this roundabout, I've noticed. So I'm not sure if that's all roundabouts or just mine in general, but it does need to get over up here because this lane ends that we're in. We're getting passed up by everybody. I don't know when it will realize it. Probably not until it's almost too late. I don't know if it'll read the sign up above, and then realize, okay, I've got to get over. Yeah, I'm going to cut the video there. Thanks for joining. Appreciate anyone that's tuned in and watched this far. Please comment, like, subscribe. If you have any questions, comments, put them down below, and I'll definitely feel free to, answer them or comment back. Thanks again.